you to see if you are eligible for our partnerships offering tuition scholarships.
Discover true agricultural tradition at the 125th Annual Somerset County Fair, August 14th through 23rd in the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Entry is $12, parking is $2. Watch dairy goat, horse, steer, and market animal judging, antique farm machinery displays, tractor pulls and horse pulls, plus our grandstand queen contest. Don't miss our opening ceremony and parade on Sunday at 6:45 p.m. Get the complete schedule at SomersetCountyFairPA.com. See you at the fair.
Head to PNC Park on Sunday, August 24th for Sesame Street Day when the Bucks take on the Colorado Rockies at 12:05 p.m. Arrive early to PNC Park and enjoy the Family Fun Zone on Federal Street, presented by C&M Play Studio, with fun for the entire family. Plus, all kids 14 and under take home a soft and cuddly Big Bird plush in honor of Sesame Street Day. Be sure to stay after the game for Kids Run the Bases, presented by Chicken of the Sea. Get your tickets at pirates.com.
Look, and you'll see there's a whole new Ford for you and me.
It's the Summer Sales Event, now until September 2nd at Thurby's Riverside Ford. Listen up. All new Escape, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and F-150 come with 0% financing for 48 months. Now that's a Summer Sales Event deal.
The all-new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT Crew Cab Hybrid 4x4s come with $3,000 in factory rebates, plus 3.9% for 60 months, plus a 2-year complimentary maintenance plan.
Check out these low payments, just $3.99 per month to lease a new 2025 Ford Escape or Bronco Sport Big Bend with 0 down payment, and get a 2-year complimentary maintenance plan.
Ford Motor Credit financing required. 3-year lease is based on 10.5 miles per year. Tax and tags extra. Offer ends September 2nd, but hurry. Thurby's Riverside Ford, your 26-time President's Award-winning dealer.
Looking for a new spot for a night out? Then check out Shindig's Bar and Grill in Uniontown, located in Oliver Square. With regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking, leave this long-haired country boy alone. And I start singing along to that line in the song, Sweet Home Alabama.
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Miles' Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul. Lost my spot here. Country Motor Sales, Gunslingers, JB's Market in Dunbar, Thundering Hills Feed and Supply, The Ink Spot, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, Fayette Structures, Solid Foundation Ministries, New Life Free Methodist Church, Highline Motorsports, Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio, and John Marietta for We the People. I want a couple things. The concert with Lee Greenwood, I want everybody to, I will tell you the tickets are starting to sell pretty good. Get a hold of the State Theater. It's going to be October the 25th. Get your tickets as soon as you can. We're going to have a get together on up the mountain, and we're going to give you the details about that in a little bit later. It's going to be at Hillbilly's Grub and Pub, I believe it is, and it's going to be a pretty good thing. I wanted everybody just to get involved with that. But anyways, let's start out with this. The laborer is worthy of his reward. That's 1 Timothy 5:18. Folks, I'll tell you what. I want to follow up on my statement yesterday about the tragedy at the U.S. Steel Clairton site in Allegheny County. First things first. My heart goes out to the families, friends, and co-workers who are grieving right now. This ain't the time for politics. This is the time for all of us to come together. Not as towns, not as counties, but as one big community that takes care of its own. Think about what I just said. I want to thank every single first responder who put themselves in harm's way to save lives and find those who were missing. That kind of courage you don't buy in a store. You don't train it in a classroom. That comes from the heart. And we should never, ever take it for granted. I'm asking you right now, let's take a quiet moment together. Reflect on the lives we've lost. Pray for the families to find comfort, for their friends to find peace, and for the injured to find strength for the road ahead. My prayer is that God blesses each of them with healing, perseverance, and hope in the days ahead. Now this one's personal for me. My father worked at that very battery at the Clairton site. My great-grandfather lost his life in a coal mine. My father-in-law died in an industrial accident right here in Fayette County, working on mine equipment. I know the pride, I know the danger, and I know the sacrifice that comes with this kind of work, and I know the grit it takes for the families to carry on after the worst happens. These men and women are the quiet backbone of our country, our county, our state. They're the ones giving us the steel, the power, the resources that keep our lives moving. Too often we don't stop to think about the people behind those hard, dangerous jobs. We should, and we ought to honor them. Not just when tragedy strikes, but every single day we live under the roof, drive the roads, and enjoy the life their labor has built for us. God bless the workers. God bless these families. And God bless all the first responders who never quit. A lot of people don't realize how personal this is to me, but it is. But anyways, we'll get over that. I have Bob Miller here with me today. Bob's a minister at, you say it because I don't want to mess it up,
Woodbridge Union Community Church.
So, minister, pastor?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get that. One of the things I always thought about was that if you read your Bible, pastor means shepherd, and that's the interpretation of it. And I know Rufus Peer was our minister at the Christian Church in New Salem for years and years, and he never wanted to be called Reverend because he felt that nobody should have that title. That was he always wanted to be called pastor because that was what a shepherd does. They lead. They go after the one that's missing.
Lead the flock.
Yep. Hey, I got Sam on the line, and Sam, I tell you what, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Oh, we can. You're live on WMBS. There's only about 20,000 people listening to you right now. So,
all right, man.
But
that's good.
Sam, the reason I want Bob here with me today, and we had a terrible tragedy happen yesterday at the mill down in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, and
yes, I seen it. I seen it myself on the news. Just unbelievable. I know they still don't have it pinned down exactly what happened yet.
Well, it's liable to take it's liable to take some time and some. But one of the things I will tell you is that it hit home pretty hard for me. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sam, you're known as the machine gun preacher, and I think you need to do. We can do a short biography, I guess. I know I've got to see the movie. which but the documentary, I only got to see the highlights or the clips of it a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to hopefully I'll get a copy of it, and I'll be able to do something with that in the near future. But
that's great.
Okay, so you're the contractor. You own businesses in Somerset County, I believe it was, right?
No, I own a motorcycle shop in Somerset County, and it's also like a U-Haul franchise. We do tags, titles, all that stuff. So it's a lot of little businesses all in one, but the main businesses I have are in Africa. I run an armed security company, and then we have restaurants, truck stops, farming. I mean, we're into a lot of things. But we mainly do the work in Africa just to create jobs. You know, a lot of times people don't realize if you want to change a nation, I believe it's Jesus Christ first. But secondly is education. Over the years, we've built 7 schools. We're building right now number 8 school. We hope to have that school done by the first of the year. It's going to be really pushing it. But then the big thing is, you know, all the schooling in the world doesn't help a lot of people. That's like me. If all the schooling in the world wasn't going to do me any justice. So my dad and mom taught us boys how to work with our hands. So we're very big into creating jobs. If you can do those 3 things, then you can stand back and say we're changing a nation. So that's what our ministry does in Africa.
And I know also that you raise 2 main crops over there to feed people with.
Yeah, we do a lot of farming. Our farm, I always say, you know, like the word says, God will not give you any more than you can handle. Our farm started out probably 8-9 years ago, only a couple hundred acres. Now it's over 1,200 acres in size. And it started out a commercial farm. But 7 years ago, God spoke to me and said, I want you to give your main crop away. Now, that's pretty serious when your main crop is a lot, you know. Now, just to give you a little bit of insight on the main crop, last year we gave away over 80 ton of processed rice, over 25 ton of processed maize flour. So you're not talking feeding a few thousand people. You're talking feeding thousands of people for 3 to 4 months' ration of food. Now, it's not like here in America. I mean, almost every little town has a food bank. And you see people pull up in Lincolns and Cadillacs and brand new trucks, you know, and get free food. We only give our food to elderly and war victims. So, I mean, the people are handpicked, but just that one project feeds thousands of lives.
One of the things I know, you've started how many orphanages?
Well, right now we have 5 different children projects, which runs from orphanages to children's home. Now, our main orphanage is in South Sudan. If you Google the top 10 most dangerous places to go to in the world, South Sudan is number 4. So that can give you a little insight of how dangerous it is. South Sudan is very dangerous. We have one of the oldest, we have one of the largest orphanages that was never shut down, not even one day during all the wartime. So we're talking more than 2.5 decades. I've been supporting Africa, been in Africa, living in Africa full-time now for 29 years.
And how many children do you feed in a day's time?
You know, we started a feeding program. I love to tell people this because it goes back to God will not give you any more than you can handle. Our first feeding program started about 18 years ago, and it was 21 children. So today, that same feeding program goes on. It's in schools. It's on our projects. and we feed over 10,000 meals a day right now. And that's every day, 10,000 meals. I mean, that goes to show you God can do powerful things. You know, a lot of times people look at our projects, they look at the well drilling, the Bush Kids projects, they look at all these things, and they think, oh, look what Sam has done. No, I couldn't have done it without supporters like Pastor Bob, his wife, and his church. But I couldn't have done it without people out there listening. But also, it would have never been done without the power of God.
Amen. I know when you first went over, I would like you to tell that story. With the first time that you went over to Africa, and that's where the how do you want to say that, Bob? The business he started with you're kind of like a paramilitary.
You know, I was a bad guy. I've been a biker all my life. My dad was a Marine, so on a Sunday after church, my dad had us out by the barn shooting guns. I started hunting at 7 years old, but you know, I believe that our parents don't only raise us up. God opens up doors and opportunities from the time we're children. You have a lot of people out there that might be listening right now, and they might say, well, you know, I was a bad guy, and I done this and I done that. God can't use me. You got to remember, every person out there that's listening right now, every bad guy, every bad girl, God can use you. And a lot of times people think, oh, I got to change everything in my life. No. What God does is he takes the worst ordinary, or not ordinary, he'll take the worst of the scumbags, of the drug addicts, and the only thing God does when we give him our life is he takes the heart out and he gives us a new heart. He wants to use your past for his future. So I went on a mission trip into South Sudan, heard of a war that was going on, or excuse me, a battle where they killed people in the village, and I had to go see it. So I told soldiers the next morning, I said, I need to go see this thing, and they said, Sam, it could be dangerous. When we got there, I was not prepared to see what I did. The ground that was normal red clay was red blood stained, and the people were dead, laying dead everywhere, and as we were looking around, the one soldier said, we got to look for children. And I say this every time I speak, every radio show, TV show, I always tell people, God will open a door for you. At that moment, the decision you make will determine your destination in life. As we were looking for children that may have been alive, may have been hiding, I come across the body of a small child, may have been 8 or 9 years old. I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl. From the waist down was gone because of a landmine. And I stood over that body, and I couldn't understand, how can this happen in the world today? Now, I want everyone out there listening, this is still happening today. The wars are raging in Africa. Children are being killed. And I stood over that body, and I said, God, I'll do whatever it takes to help these people. And at that moment, I didn't realize what I was saying until 8 years later. I'm still there. As I said, I've been in Africa, supporting Africa, going to Africa 29 years. I'm 63 years old. I'm the oldest American to still be active in a war zone. And I mean active in a war zone, going in to rescue children. If you've seen the movie Machine Gun Preacher, the movie was not very accurate. But you got to get the documentaries. The first documentary is still on Amazon, Machine Gun Preacher documentary. When you see war, that's all real war. That's no actors in that. But there's a new documentary out there that I'm encouraging everybody to get, because I believe this documentary will change your life. It's titled Never Stop. And I believe in the world today, or not the world, in the United States, we got too many Christian and non-Christian people saying, well, I'm too old now, time for young people to take over. Listen, God is not finished with you until you take that last breath. And then hopefully if you know him and you gave your life to him, you're going to eternal life with the King. But until you leave this world, God still has work for you to do. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you walk with a cane, a walker, in a wheelchair. God is not done with you yet. But this documentary, Never Stop, will show you 29 years of suffering, 29 years of war, 29 years of being defeated, but at the end, 29 years of victory. And I believe that the documentary, when you watch it, it starts out about Sam Childers, the machine gun preacher, but at the end of the documentary, it's about you. And I believe that it's going to encourage you, it's going to empower you to keep going on, no matter what you're facing, going through, struggles. It's going to encourage you, never stop.
Well, one of the things I can tell you is I have a very good friend of mine. We'll just say he was running a consulting firm for one of the countries in Africa, and he got in a spot just like you were talking about. And he told me, he said, it wasn't just a few people; it was thousands of people. They killed a whole village. And,
yeah.
And he's standing there, and he's looking around, and he told me, he says, John, I don't even know if there was a blade of grass alive. He said that's just how bad.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. And he said he got on the SAT radio, and I said, that's what I said to him. I said, what'd you do? He said, I got on the SAT radio. He said it was time to break the contract and get home. He said, I got somebody to get us all out of there, because he said there was 12 of us. He said what? He said, I just couldn't do it no more. He said, I just physically, mentally could not do this anymore.
That's what I do for a living. I am a security contractor. So I mean, we not only go in to protect people, we bring people out in problems. But God knows tomorrow. We don't. God knows next month, next year, and God sat us up inside of a security company that allows us to not just bring security and peace to people around us, but it allows us to rescue children. And anyone that's out there listening, I ask everyone, look into our work. You'll find good stories, you'll find bad stories, but the big story that you'll find, we never stopped. We have Pastor Bob there. Pastor Bob has been a minister for many years, Christian for many years. You don't hear of ministries in Africa that's been boots on the ground for 29 years, and then the ministry is already formed and set up. Bob's wife was just over there. So his wife, his daughter-in-law, was just over there. Our ministry is not just boots on the ground for 29 years. It's formed and it's built right now that if something happens to me, it's going to stay boots on the ground, and hopefully until the sound of that trumpet. So our ministry is about education, building schools. I mean, like I said, we're building number 8 school right now, feed over 10,000 meals a day, 5 different orphanages and children projects. Last year, we averaged 15 wells that we drilled. We have one project called Bush Kids Project where we go deep into the bush.
And this is something that people need to understand about these water wells, because we live here in Pennsylvania, and you need to explain this. You need to explain this.
I think the big thing, like even in our area where we live, there's a lot of coal mining, and God bless coal mining. I mean, I have nothing against coal mining, but your water will get a little hard. It'll get a little iron in it. But you can still drink it. It won't kill you. It might not taste good. Any township, any city in the state of Pennsylvania, you can drink the water. It's not going to kill you. But in Africa, in East Africa alone, they say 1,200 elderly and children die per day under the age of 5, the children. 1,200 die per day from bacteria and parasites in the water. So you got to have a deep well. So we drill only deep wells. This year we have pledged to drill at least one well per month. We pledged it last year, and last year at the end of the year we drilled 15 wells. One well, now this is hard to understand, one well will save at least 1,500 to 2,000 people. That well, they only use it for drinking water only.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, they're not building a spa. I mean,
right, absolutely. They're not bathing in that water. They're going to bathe in the lakes. They're going to bathe in the rivers. They're going to bathe from rainwater. But drinking water, if you drill a deep well in a village, that water is only used for drinking only.
Well, Sam, I think people you're guiding them to the right places so they can find things out about you. And Bob's sitting here beside me. One of the things I did want to ask you, we're gonna have to cut you off here a little bit, but one of the things, how many acres do you farm to get 80 tons of rice?
We have about 1,200 acres, and we have several projects. With all the projects, with the security company, which is only ex-military, ex-policemen, older people. A lot of times people hear security, they think we work children or teenagers. Not true. It's only adults only. But with all the businesses, hotels and restaurants and supermarkets and farming, we have about 730 workers per day. I mean, that's how you change a nation, is with your workers. But with all the projects, we're saving thousands of lives. You know, there was a movie recently done, Sound of Freedom, awesome movie. That movie alone made over $260 million. It made. It was only about 2 children. Now, if one child is saved, praise God. But what I want people to realize that's hearing this today, our ministry has saved thousands of people. I mean, we're talking feeding thousands of people. So I want to challenge everyone, look into our ministry. You can Google Sam Childers, Machine Gun Preacher on YouTube, on Google. But if you would like to really help us, go to www.mgp Never Stop. If you just remember the words, Never Stop, go to that website, download the documentary. I think it's 1995. Download that documentary. You're going to be helping to save children. I need everybody out there that's listening, if you can help us to market the documentary in any way. You know, the movie Machine Gun Preacher, I wrote 2 books. The first documentary made other people millions of dollars, but it didn't really help our ministry. Our ministry, we own, we're selling. So this new documentary is owned by us. We are marketing. It's all done in-house. We really need your help. If you just Google the words, Never Stop, Machine Gun Preacher, download that documentary, you're helping to save children. And Bob that's there, Bob's not only a pastor, his wife went to Africa and they got the passion, so they're raising money to buy a tractor for this farm. You know, one tractor saves thousands of people. So, I mean, if you want to even get a hold of Bob, they're almost finished raising the money, but they still need some help. If somebody out there knows Bob, knows his church, knows where he lives, get a hold of Bob. Help them raise the rest of the money. And if you really want to help us, download the documentary.
Well, one more time, give your contact information. And Bob, do you have anything else to say?
I'd just like to say about the feeding program that Sam has. He's feeding between 10 and 12,000 meals a day. And, you know, here in America, we get up in the morning, we eat breakfast, then we go and have lunch, and then come supper time, we sit down and eat supper, and then sit and eat chips in front of the TV. Those people over there, they're eating one meal a day. And if it weren't for Sam, they wouldn't get that one meal a day. And I met Sam last year. He came to our church. And before Sam left me that day, he asked me, I asked Sam, I said, Sam, what can I do for you? He says, well, Bob, I'll tell you, we really need a tractor. And I said, well, I don't know if I can get you a tractor. I said, but if God's in it, there's no limit. And Sam come back this year. We had him, he joined us over at the fair one evening. Then he was at our church, and he was just at the Free Methodist Campground over the weekend.
Which, by the way, first time I was there, I drove by that place. I told Bob, I said, I've drove by that place 1,000 times. That building that you had that service in, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I told Sam when we were at the fair, I said, Sam, last year I told you that we're going to do our best to get you a tractor. I said, the work that you're doing over in Africa, I want to be a part of that. God hasn't called me to Africa, but he has called me to do something. One quote that I'm going to quote from Sam is that nobody can do it all, but everybody can do something. And I believe that this is what God has me doing right now. And I told Sam, if it kills me, I'm gonna have you a tractor. And my wife and I are planning on going back to Sudan next year because I want to witness firsthand. My wife has already seen it. I want to see it. I'm like Sam. Like he told those soldiers, I got to see it. Well, I want to see it for myself. I know he's doing a wonderful work, and I'm going to do all I can do.
I'm hoping to have you plow the first acre with the tractor. What was really something when Bob's wife was there and Bob's daughter-in-law, they were on all the projects. And out of all the projects, they loved the orphanages. They loved the children's home. But they seen how important the farm was. And his wife got up on a brand new tractor that wasn't even used to plow. The plastic was on the seats. And she was so moved about the farm. When she went home, her and Bob got together and they said, we're going to buy another tractor, you know. Well, so all I can say to Bob, his family, thank you. Everybody that's out there listening, we all can do something.
Yep. I'd like to say one more thing. Everybody that I've asked to donate toward this, I tell them, I said, it's not like we're feeding somebody for a day or a month or a year. I said, how long does a tractor last? I said, and every year Sam's donating this food to these folks that need it desperately.
Yep.
And again,
and not only that, look at the jobs that we're creating. The farm in peak season is working 150 people. So we're teaching people how to be farmers. We're teaching people how to function in a world that's difficult. So, I mean, we all know that God blesses us for doing good. Now imagine if we're changing a nation, what do you think he'll do for us?
Yep.
And I believe that Sam is changing the nation. It may just be a small part of the time, but it's
not just Sam. It's people like you, Bob, and your wife Julie, and listen. I gotta say the radio station. When people hear this on radio, podcasting, TV, I mean, you people that step out to do a show, this is like joint effort to change a nation. So all I can say, thank you.
Well, Sam, one more time, your contact is www.
Yeah, MGP Never Stop takes you to get the documentary. But if you Google Machine Gun Preacher, everything will come up, my office number. And listen, all you people from Pennsylvania, remember this. I'm from Pennsylvania. I live right down the road from you. So, I mean, I grew up eating groundhog, gray squirrel, rabbits and deer meat. I ate deer meat last night for dinner, So I'm one of you people, so you can be helping your own. And if you want to put boots on the ground, you can put boots on the ground in Africa.
Well, thanks for calling in, Sam. We appreciate it. We'll get you back on another time. hopefully we can get you back on. We'll have to figure out the time change, the time zones, and we'll get you on when you're back in Sedan. And
that would really be an awesome. Get me right in the middle of the war zone with the machine gun right next to me.
Okay. Hey, Sam, you take care, stay safe, and have a great day.
All right. Hey, everyone out there, I got to say this here. Oh.
Go ahead.
If God can use me, imagine what he can do with you. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Sam. We appreciate it. Hey, we're going to go to our other caller. We're going to switch gears here a little bit. I have Greg on the phone. Greg, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hi, how's everybody doing? My name's Greg Deal. I am a mill worker down in I'm actually up for you guys in Butler County, and I am the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania.
So we had a terrible tragedy happen yesterday. And I don't want to put the blame on nobody, and that isn't my goal here. My goal is I want you to. My father worked in the mill. My uncle worked in the mill. My grandfather worked in the mill. I had grandparents that worked in the mines. I think we take for granted too much. This is where I'm going with this. Is just so you know, I think we take for granted too much. Bob's sitting beside me. He has friends and family and everybody that's worked in mills too. Actually, me and Bob got some history. Someday we'll talk about that on the radio. But anyways, I think people don't realize how dangerous these jobs really are, and I think that we need to really thank you all for everything you do and everything you stand up for. And so I don't know where I want to lead you to, but anyways, could you give us some ideas about, give us a little bit of an idea about what it's like to work in the mill?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'll start by saying the mill in Clairton is completely different than the one up here in Butler County. So we have a lot of similar things that go on. However, their processes and everything are a lot different. However, generally speaking, the mill is a very we're in steel buildings, but there's no heat, there's no air conditioning, there's no real good ventilation, if you will. So when it's 90 degrees, 100 degrees outside, inside it's probably about 115, 120. When it's 5 degrees below zero, it's probably about 10, 15 degrees below zero in these conditions. Myself, we run electrical steel. So we have a lot of 40,000-pound coils. If you kind of equate that to truck, that's 6 F-150s flying over your head at any given time. It's loud, it's hot, it's dusty. On a continuous basis, day in, day out, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Electrical steel, that means your mill is what you're saying is it's fire. It makes heat with electric. Is that how that works? Is that what you're talking about?
No, actually, the steel that we make here. Actually, I'm in Butler. The steel that we make is electrical steel, so all the steel that goes into your transformers, all those boxes that you see driving down the road on the telephone poles, all that steel comes from us.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I do know this from just because when the mill is open 365 days of the year, 24/7. Am I correct about that?
Yes, sir, you are.
So there's guys that have to work holidays. I know my dad had to go out on second shift, third shift on holidays, different times, and Christmas. It depended on the rotation, how it was. I mean, some guys wanted to pick up the extra money. Some guys wanted to be off, and it depended on how the rotations was when he worked at Clairton. But yeah. I do know that the heat is extreme because I know down at Clairton. My dad talked about guys freezing 2-liter bottles of water, and they would tie a rope around them, and before they would go up on a battery, they would put them around their neck and they try to keep themselves cool, and then they would come off the battery and the water would be warm. So I mean, I think they were only allowed to be up there. There was a time limit. You might know what it was, but I should have probably asked my dad that before I went on the radio today. but anyways, he worked like I said, he worked down there, and then he worked at the battery that blew up yesterday, and then he also worked at the door shop, which when you talk about doors, these doors weigh tons. I mean, you can go into that. But is there anything else you'd like to say about the dangers of working in a mill and how these guys need to, anything like that?
I just, I've been thinking about this, tragically, for the past 26, 27 hours since I saw it on all the news channels and everything. And, you mentioned earlier that you guys take it for granted. I think sometimes we take those types of things for granted whenever we're working by a battery or a furnace, as I work beside, that runs about 1,800 to 2,200 degrees, which is about what they run down there. They said 1,100 degrees Celsius, roughly, which is about just over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Walking by those things, the amount of oxygen and nitrogen and helium and things like that go into it, makes it extremely combustible, pretty much at all times. And just the severity of things that can happen. I mean, hasn't been a whole lot of casualties, thank God, over the past few years in the steel industry, especially in the United States. There's a lot of fail-safes. That's why it's really super tragic whenever something like this happens. That there's something, in my opinion, now again, I don't know, I'm not an expert, something had to have gone wrong with the fail-safe with this, and which makes it even more tragic that these guys are losing their lives.
Well, we know jobs makes progress. I mean, that's the important thing, and we also know that you're the chair of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to give you a minute or two to give a spill about that, because everybody asked me if. In fact, I got asked this morning. They asked me how I'm registered, because the guy was talking to me. He wanted to know about voting for me, and I said, "Well, I have an R behind my name, but I always tell everybody I'm a Christian constitutionalist, and I think the Libertarian Party is, and the Republican Party kind of fits in with me, and the Constitution Party and the Libertarian Party. I think this is where we need to go. I don't think we all need to belong to the same group of people in order to get the job done, but I think we all have to have the wisdom and the foresight to understand how to work with each other to get the job done. So
absolutely.
So if there's anything you want to talk about, I got a few minutes, and I'll give them to you.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'll just take a couple quick minutes as far as what the Libertarian Party is, and kind of where we believe and everything from that. We believe that we have the same problems that Republicans and Democrats do. However, a lot of times that we feel that the government is either the cause of that problem, or they make the problems a whole lot worse. We believe a lot in private institutions, that private institutions can do a whole lot more with a whole lot less. That's one of the really big things, such as, I was just listening as you were talking with the last gentleman on there. And it kind of, a couple of those points hit home for me as far as what I can do personally to donate, or we can do things like that. That money going to private organizations is going to be a whole lot better off than going to the government and getting used wastefully. Amen. And then the places that need that thing, that money, that infrastructure, don't get it because it ends up in the pockets of billionaires and our politicians. So the Libertarian Party mainly sees a lot of the government is the issue, and trying to get the government out of it to try to push forward your personal liberties and personal freedoms, but also recognizing that with those freedoms and liberties comes your own personal responsibility. So we need to make sure that we're doing things correctly, and that we're being responsible humans and responsible adults to ourselves and to our family and to others in the community.
I I have to agree with you wholeheartedly about everything you said. Bob's shaking his head up and down. You can't see that here, but he's agreeing too. I think the problem we have is way too much government, and too much government. Not only too much government, but there's too much overreach. When you talk about just Sam, for example, what he can do with a dollar bill compared to what government can do with a dollar bill. You think about the Salvation Army, which is one of the things that they do. They use like 94 cents out of every dollar goes to the people they help. I'm not. I don't know what I might have it a little bit wrong, but it's in the 90s. When government gets a hold of money, by the time it gets washed and goes through all the channels and everything, it's probably less than 20 cents. It gets to where it needs to be. It might be 30. Yep. But
you're absolutely right.
You start thinking about these things, about how just $1 can change the life of somebody, and what you were explaining to us, it's about jobs, it's about responsibility, and that's what we need to do. I think our founding fathers, they realized that, and that's why they wanted a limited government, and that's why we have a republic, not a democracy.
Yep, absolutely. And I actually get this a lot, is that we talk about you see and talk about the Constitution a lot. The Constitution, which is one of my favorite parts of this whole thing about our country, is is not what gives us our rights. Really, what it does is it limits the scope and the power of the government. And if we start looking at the Constitution through those eyes, then everything that the founding fathers did seems to make a whole lot more sense.
Well, I am a firm believer that God gives us the rights, and government is there to protect them. So that's how I look at it. I don't maybe that's a little bit maybe that isn't how it should be, but I believe that God has given us every right that is in that Constitution already, and in our Constitution already. I believe government is there to protect them rights.
Yep, I'm 100% agree with you.
So, is there anything coming up that you would like to? I got about 1 minute left. Do you guys have anything coming up in the state that you would like to let everybody know about, or anything going on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I know we're going to have some fundraising events. We don't have any of that scheduled right this moment, but our next big event will be next March 20th to the 22nd. Will be our state convention in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We're heading out towards Philly for the 250th.
There's something going on in October. I got a message from, I believe, I'm almost sure, but I thought there was something going on in October somewhere, but I don't know. I might be on two different pages here. It might, because the Constitution Party also sends me stuff all the time too. Well,
sure.
Where are we at, Nick? We got a minute to go. Okay, so hey, I gotta let you go. It was nice for you to call in, and we'll get you back on again, Greg.
All right. Thank you so much for taking your time.
Okay. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad. Love what you got and remember what you had. Always forgive and try to forget. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am Jon Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCoy.